Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and I have an alumni from Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning on the phone, Ron Sloan, and he played Junior Hubbard. Hey Ron, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good, Scotty. Hanging in there in these crazy times.
Yeah, it's been a very crazy time. I've been starting up the interviews again probably about 2 weeks ago because I figured it would help people, with entertainment and to keep their minds off of the quarantine and everything. The last time I've done an interview was, I believe, last March of my before these past 2 weeks, and it was with Dee Wallace.
Ah, love her. I,
Yes,
I gotta tell you, wow, she's awesome. I had an amazing time working with her,
that's
and
awesome.
truly.
That's awesome. And I know you're starring in 13 Fanboy. I do have a question about that we'll get into in a little later in the interview. So if it for everybody that does listen to this interview, that they can hear more about 13 Fanboy, which I heard amazing things about.
It's all true.
Awesome. So the first question I got for you is not related to Friday the 13th, but it's how did you get your start into acting?
Oh, well, it's interesting because I did a little bit of acting in high school because it fulfilled an English requirement. I didn't feel like writing. So after that, ended up in college, College of the Redwoods in Humboldt State up in Northern California. Famous for many things, and none of which was really theater. But ended up leaving college and working at a studio, which is actually at the time was KTTV Channel 11. And they shot all the Norman Lear shows there.
Hmm.
All in the Family, Different Strokes, Facts of Life, One Day at a Time.
Nice.
And I was a page at the studio and actually got my break on the Steve Allen show, who was like a Tonight Show, one of the first Tonight shows, and I actually weaseled my way onto the set. I was working as a page, but it's a long story, and I won't go into it. But I ended up on stage during the filming of the show, and it qualified me for joining the union, and that's how I became a union actor, and it was really a lot of fun.
That's
I had a
awesome.
blast.
That's awesome. So what was your audition like for Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning?
Well, that was sort of a fluke because I was doing a showcase at the Fountain Theater in Hollywood. I would do it once a week, where you perform a 5-minute scene. And so I did my little 5-minute scene with a buddy of mine. And that night, and I've done it for like 2 years, but that night, Pamela Basker and Fern Champion were in the audience.
Oh, nice.
And after doing my scene, they asked me in front of everybody, "Do you think you could portray a hillbilly?" And I said, "Yeah." And I jumped into a character that was really a friend of my brother's who was goofy. And I took it to the next level, and these guys were laughing their asses off. And next thing I know, 2 days later, I have a call to audition for Repetition. It was not called Friday the 13th Part 5, but it was called Repetition.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Yep. So what was Danny Steinman like as a director?
Well, it's so funny because, I've done a few interviews, and everybody's always asking about Danny, but I had a good relationship with Danny right from the start. He was at my audition, and I busted him up pretty good. And as I left the audition, he said, "It's going to be great working with you." Of course, nobody told me I had the part yet. And the next day, I had a call back from Frank Mancuso Jr., the producer. And as I walked in the room, Danny said, "Hey, this is the kid I was telling you about. I'm going to love working with him." So, it was really hard not to think you had the part,
Right.
but it was, I was like pretty damn excited at the time, and so even on the set, Danny kind of gave Ethel and I leeway to do whatever we want to do. I mean, he threw out some guidance and stuff for particular shots and hitting certain marks, and but he just wanted us to have a blast together, and Carol and I had great chemistry, so it wasn't hard. It was just, I mean, it was fun.
That's awesome.
It was really fun.
You guys were who I love that. I love your guys' scenes. Like, it was the part I look forward to the most in the film.
Ah, thank you.
No problem.
Well, then you're really gonna love 13 Fanboy, because Carol and I have a scene together in that.
I am so excited.
It's pretty funny, I gotta admit. It's pretty funny.
Right, so we all know that Tom Morgan did most of the scenes as Jason Voorhees up until the Roy Burns reveal. So what was it like working with him?
Well, what was interesting with Tom was, first of all, everybody, I can't speak for everyone, but
right.
It seemed like, well, our first day shooting, we're all sitting with each other, and the topic of conversation was, so how do you die? Oh, well, I get my head cut off. Oh, how do you die? Oh, I'm in an outhouse and spears go through me. No, it was really like that.
It's awesome.
And we're all sitting there, and then all of a sudden, Tom comes by, but he's in the full, with the mask, the whole 9 yards. So, first of all, I hadn't met Tom, and he walks by and looks at all of us, and everybody all of a sudden went, oh my God, we're in a Friday the 13th. Oh, I can't believe it. I mean, truly, nobody knew, at least I definitely didn't know. So that was a pretty cool moment.
Awesome. So what was it like when you first found out that you're in a Friday the 13th movie?
Well, it was that moment. I mean, literally, and it was a closed set. You weren't allowed, and nobody was allowed on that set. I kind of bullshitted my way in. I have my best buddy, Randy Ramage. I had him come down. He lived near there, and I told him I told everybody that was my brother. So he hung out.
That's awesome.
It was cool.
That's great.
Very cool.
What was your most memorable moment while filming Friday the 13th Part 5: A New Beginning?
Well, it's interesting because it's kind of surrealistic. First of all, that was the biggest part I had ever had at that time, and you just want to do it right. You really, and I think memorable would be from hero to zero. I had a scene, it might have been when John Shepard and I are fighting. I can't remember the exact scene. I think it was that one. And Danny walks up to me and goes, man, that was great. And Frank Mancuso walks up to me, man, that was you were awesome. And then my next scene, I totally blew a line, or I don't know what happened. It was like you went from being like, hey, that was great, to okay, let's shoot that one again.
Right.
So it taught me a lesson.
Right. So did you see any of the Friday the 13th movies before this one?
Yeah, I saw Part 1 and Part 2.
Awesome. How was your death scene filmed and prepped?
Well, the whole thing was they did do I do have the prosthetic head, so to speak. So that was a nightmare itself, having that made, but I was actually in a harness, and I was on the motorcycle, and literally I was rolling into that scene the way it was edited, because they do what's called a film reversal. So once I'm in the scene and stopped, I had to go from having a screaming pose to a normal pose on my face, and then they reverse the film so it looks like I'm normal, then screaming, and they hit this tripwire, and I get jerked back off the motorcycle.
Wow.
So, yeah, but you didn't see that in the film.
Right, right.
That part didn't make the editors for whatever reason. You see Jason's a blade behind the tree. My head hits the ground. That was it.
Yep.
But in reality, and I saw the footage, which subsequently got destroyed. When my head hit the ground, it rolled and actually looked right up at camera.
Okay.
It was so freaky, and it would pass now, but they don't have the footage anymore.
Oh.
I don't know why they destroyed all the censored stuff.
Right, that's crazy. That would have made for good Blu-ray content.
Oh my God! And I mean, I saw it in black and white because I was doing ADR, voiceover stuff.
Right.
And that's the clip I got to see because I'm screaming all the way through it, and they had to do all the screams and everything. And when I saw that clip, I was like, oh, God, that's unbelievable.
Right. So what was it like working with Carol Locatel?
Oh, my God. It was instant chemistry.
Awesome.
She's a blessing. And she just cracked my ass up. I got to tell you, she is a hoot and a half, and she still is.
Right.
Carol and I, ever since the movie, have just such a unique relationship. I call her on Mother's Day. And it was so funny. She just called me the other night, checking on me through the whole, what's going on in the world right now with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I mean, she just, she's awesome. She is family.
That's
and,
great.
And during the filming itself, of course, it was two actors getting together.
Mm-hmm.
And we just had this kind of fun stuff and playing. And it wasn't, I'm not even sure how to put it. It's not that it's work.
Right.
We really just clicked.
Right.
And so, it's like Abbott and Costello or Laurel and Hardy, I've been asked to do conventions by myself, and I said no. I won't do it. I can't do it without Carol.
Right.
We're a team.
I would love to meet you both.
Oh, and she's awesome. I mean, she is one funny lady.
So what was the best part about filming Friday the 13th Part 5, and what was the worst?
Well, the best part, of course, is doing it. I mean, that's like, jeez.
Yeah.
I remember one moment, because, it was pretty early in my career, and I remember one moment, it was my first close-up, I think, and I looked, and I saw everybody, all the other actors looking at me, and all the production guys looking, and the director, and Frank, and I, at that moment, just was like, this is so cool. This is amazing. And I really enjoyed that moment instead of being fearful, like as if it was some sort of work that you had to, worry about and accomplish and do right. It was just a natural, I enjoyed the moment. And that's actually probably one of the few times in my life that I really took the time to enjoy the moment.
That's awesome.
Of course, it did become fearful at times.
Right.
The worst was the motorcycle scene, riding the bike through the forest with a really heavy camera on the handlebars. And Danny Steinman, the only negative comment Danny ever said to me was, hey, look at Junior, if you dump this bike with this $50,000 camera on it, I'm really going to kill you. and so now you're concentrating on steering this stupid bike and not dumping it because you got this top-heavy camera on your handlebars. And it was so funny because I've been riding, and they had Dick Warlock and Gene LaBelle check me out on the bike, and then when it really came down to it, that scene where I pull up and screaming at Ethel, "They hurt me, Ma!" Well, they pulled me in on a rope on that bike. It wasn't even me riding up. They towed me in, and I had to stop. So it was like, oh, brother.
Do you ever ride a motorcycle before that scene?
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, I was very familiar. They tested me. I had to go through, like, all these orange fields and just It was pretty funny, and then when it really came down to it, anybody could have ridden that bike.
Awesome. Let's see. So we all know that you're starring in 13 Fanboy, which is a movie that Debbie Sue Voorhees, also from Friday the 13th Part 5, has created. Obviously, you can't say too much because I'm sure you're under an NDA clause. But can you give us any insights on this movie and let us know a bit about it and what your role is in it?
Well, no, sorry, Scott, can't tell you anything. No. My role is I play Dee Wallace's husband.
Okay.
And which is beyond cool. I mean, a just amazing woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Deb has given a few clues on what's the film basically about. It's out there. So, Dee has a stalker in the film.
Okay.
And they're really probably through part of it, I don't believe her. I think she's losing her mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the stress in that relationship between the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely some conflict, but there's a lot of love between us in this film.
Awesome.
A lot of love. And, there was a chemistry there that equal to the chemistry that I had with Carol, but in a different form with Dee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, loving husband and wife. You definitely know that we're married and that we've gone through a lot together and that we can get through anything.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see this movie. I just want to see this so bad.
Oh, I gotta tell you, there are parts that are gonna bring tears to your eyes.
Wow.
Truly emotional, and I can't say enough about Dee. I mean, look, she's done over 200 films.
Right.
I am beyond fortunate
to
play opposite her. The beauty of something like this, Scotty, is we fed each other so much that you can't help but really connect and see and feel. That chemistry, you've seen it on screen with many couples. Either they work or they don't work.
Right. So,
I mean, this beyond worked, and I look very forward to seeing her again.
That's awesome.
At the premiere. And yeah, it's very cool.
Right. Yeah, I interviewed her last March in 2019, and she was very sweet. She actually was at an audition, or she had to be on set, or something like that. But we had an interview scheduled. I think it was an audition because it came up out of nowhere. And she's like, Scotty, I have an audition to do for your today, but I don't want to cancel the interview because I already made a commitment to you. But this is also my job, so is it okay if we just if the interview's at no longer than 20 minutes? And I'm like, hey, you're taking time out of your schedule before having to be on set or whatever for an audition. I mean, I'm more than happy to give you 20 minutes.
Yeah.
She made time.
And she's as good as it gets, man.
Yes.
She's beyond pro.
Yeah.
She's. I'm lucky.
That's
Very
awesome.
Lucky.
The last question.
I gotta thank Deborah for that one.
Yeah.
She paired us up together.
Yeah, I interviewed Debbie Sue Voorhees twice as well. Very, very down-to-earth lady. One was a Skype interview back maybe 2-3 years ago, and then another one was a phone interview about 13 Fanboy only. And that one she reached out to me for that interview, and that one was about maybe, I'd say, December-ish.
Wow.
I think it wasn't already being filmed, so it was probably the December before that. It might have been the December before that.
Well, I was lucky with Deborah because she told me that Dee was playing the lead, and she goes, "Have you ever met Dee Wallace?" And I emailed her a picture, ironically, of Dee and I together oh my God, 11 years ago at Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And I can't even explain why Dee and I have a picture together. Obviously, my wife took the picture. And I sent that to Deborah, and she goes, oh my God, well, you're definitely her husband. And that was so cool.
That's
It was
amazing.
so cool.
That's so amazing. All right, the last question I have for you is do you have any films, projects, or anything else you would like to promote and let our listeners know about?
Well, really, there's nothing currently at this time, nothing shooting.
Okay.
I'm looking really forward. We'll see if it happens, Scotty.
Okay.
But, I'm supposed to do Mad Monster Party in Glendale, Arizona in mid-June, which I kind of doubt, but you never know.
You never know.
I don't want to lose the faith.
All right.
And then I'm also booked at in Chicago. Oh, at the end of July.
Okay.
Flashback weekend
Okay.
at Rosemont. But who knows with this whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
There might be a little something coming up in Michigan in November, but nothing's etched in stone yet.
Right.
But nothing film-wise. It sounds crazy, but I'm kind of waiting for 13 Fanboy to come out and then promote myself. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just figured once I have that chunk of film on me, a lot of doors are going to open.
I agree. I completely agree with that. And I'm so excited for this movie to come out.
Oh, it's going to be just crazy good.
Yeah. So before I let you go, maybe you can do us, myself as a fan as well, a favor and do a line from Friday the 13th Part 5 in the voice of Junior for us.
They heard me, Ma. I tell you, they heard me.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ron, for your time.
Hey, many blessings, my friend. You take care and please be safe out there.
Thank
Scotty.
you. You do the same exact thing, and you have a great rest of your night.
You too.
All right. Thank you.
Care.
Bye.
Bye.